Welcome to the wild city of Anchorage. Like all urban jungles, this is a city plagued by thieves and petty crime. But here in Anchorage, the culprits aren't human, they are wild animals. This unique Arctic city is home to 5 wild wolf packs, hundreds of bears, and over 2,000 moose. These notorious animals are running riot, crossing busy highways, giving birth in backyards, and even doing battle right here in suburbia. But life on the streets is fraught with danger, and in this expanding city, more highways mean more moose deaths. But the people of Anchorage are on a mission to protect the most iconic animal in this wild city. Alaska is known as the land of the midnight sun, where in some parts of the state they have constant daylight for 3 months. This intense amount of sunlight brings life and beauty like nowhere else on Earth. 3 million lakes, 100,000 glaciers, and 29 volcanoes show Alaska is bursting with life. And there is one wild creature that thrives more than any other and has become the Alaskan state animal. It's the moose. Standing up to 2 meters tall and weighing over 700 kilos, moose are the largest hooved animals on Earth. When autumn comes, it's time for the rut. These males are using their mighty antlers to fight for the top spot in the herd. The risk of injury is high, but the reward is great, as this winner claims his female mate. Then when spring comes, these females give birth to his young. The calves are able to stand within the first day of their lives. But they are vulnerable as bears, wolves, and coyotes are on the lookout for a tasty meal. But these icons of Alaska have also set up home in Anchorage. So adapted are they to city living, they have found an interesting survival technique to their urban life. The female moose have found protection for their calves in people's gardens. But hiding in the city does have its downfalls. Mothers will leave their young for long periods of time to find food and water, even when they're just a few weeks old. The residents of Anchorage think they're abandoned and come to the rescue. But when the mothers come back, they will reject any young that has had human contact. And a calf without milk won't last long in the city. But help is at hand from the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, dedicated to rescuing orphaned animals. Moose are their specialty.
Moose are an animal that we care for here at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. We currently have 3 bull moose in our care. With a lot of moose that come into our care, they are unfortunately orphans. Mothers will fairly regularly separate themselves from their newborns to find safe passage, fresh water, feeding grounds, things of that nature. They can potentially leave them hours at a time.
And unfortunately, that was how Toke, their 1-year-old moose, ended up at the center.
A family in Anchorage thought they were doing what was in the best interest of the animal. They saw him by himself as a very early newborn, so they decided to take him in to try and provide care for him. But unfortunately, in the process, separated him from his mother. And shortly thereafter, the Alaska Department of Fish and Game orphaned him into our care. Seeing how well he's done now and the health that he's maintained, and to be able to be a part of the growth cycle, that's something that's been really rewarding for me. Come here.
For Scott, it is particularly important to help the moose to live a life as close to the wild as possible.
We do just about everything in our capacity to provide as wild a life as possible. Our staff cut natural vegetation on a daily basis for them, so we try to replicate the natural diet as much as possible. Whenever we are able to bring an animal into our care, there is a fairly sensitive process that we'll go through in establishing what the likelihood of release is for the animals. And in the off chance that we're not able to pursue an opportunity for release, that can enable a lot of our staff to get fairly hands-on.
Hey, bud.
And in the process, very unique bonds can be formed.
Hey. There we go. Look. There we go.
And just 3 weeks ago, they received the latest addition to their moose family.
So this guy was brought here from Anchorage. He was caught in a fence. Mom ended up abandoning him, just running away. Fish and Game came, rescued him from that fence, and tried following Mom, but she just kept going, and so she never got her calf back. And so he was brought here to the center.
Because there is space at the center, under Alaskan law, this moose will remain here for the rest of its life. Which means Brad now has the very important job of being a moose mum.
So while we are feeding him, we will try to take breaks between each bout of nursing, just like they would out in the wild with Mom. They aren't going to get a full 20 ounces in one draw, and so we do try to break it up a little bit, walk him around a little bit.
And Brad is happy that this guy is doing really well.
The first 2 feedings, he was pretty slow to jump onto it, but since then he's consistently eaten at every single feeding. Almost always eating all of it, yeah. So he is growing pretty quickly. Good boy.
When moose come to stay at the conservation center for good, it's important they get used to people, so Brad and the other keepers are able to look after them.
Something else we're trying to get him comfortable with is being touched all over his body. So that way when he is older, we can comfortably come in and touch him, do medical stuff with him, such as injections. No nudging me. No nudging me. Good boy.
When the calf is older, he'll join the other adult moose at the center. The work of Scott and Brad is so important, as all the moose here play a vital role in educating people how to live alongside these incredible animals. As in Anchorage, they often turn up on your doorstep. But why are all these moose so attracted to city living? It's all down to the abundance of food. And there's one thing a moose is particularly partial to: fruit. As local resident Ashley found out.
One evening I was sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden I hear this pounding noise. And I can hear it's coming from right outside my front door. And my heart starts racing.
And what Ashley saw outside her window wasn't what she expected.
I get the courage to look outside, and it's a mother moose and 2 babies eating out of this giant cooler of apples that I forgot out earlier that day.
This is what happens when you leave a bucket of apples on your porch in Anchorage, Alaska. I guess I'm not making applesauce this weekend.
But Ashley knows that when a protective mother is in your garden with her babies, you have to be careful.
I don't dare open the front door right now, but as you can see, I just cracked open my window. So if Mom gets mad, I can just duck inside. But this is pretty amazing. Well, this is way better than watching TV. got a little bit of a mess to clean up in the morning.
So from now on, when it comes to her fruit and the trees the apples grow on, Ashley isn't taking any chances.
I just planted a few apple trees in the front yard, and they're just really small baby trees. And one of the things we had to do right after getting them in the ground, you have to wrap them in this big wire cage. Because if you don't wrap your baby trees, a moose just comes in and eats them. It can smell the sugars in the fruit trees, and it's just like candy for moose.
And for now, this recent footage shows the fence seems to be working. But no matter what the moose are up to, Ashley is always pleased to see them.
I've seen hundreds of moose by this point, but every time I see a moose, I still have that internal debate, you know, should I stop and take a picture?
With more and more moose coming into Anchorage, encounters with people are on the increase. And there is one place in Anchorage where there seems to be more moose than people. Right in the heart of the city, it's Kincaid Park. A popular park for cyclists and runners. Everyone has a story.
I've seen bear and moose in this park, but predominantly definitely moose.
Yeah, when we're out biking in Kincaid, we see moose almost every day.
I'm more surprised if I don't see the wildlife out here. It's just such a huge riding area, and they're just all over the place.
But as fun as it is to see them, the locals know every moose should be approached with caution.
We actually have more issues or problems from moose than we do from bears, mostly because they get a little more defensive, especially here in the spring when they have their calves or their babies.
And every person out on the trail has their own way of making sure they don't surprise a moose.
It's really common for people to ride with bells or make other noises while they're out on the trails. Some people even sing occasionally.
You're out there by yourself a lot of times, you're riding, you got a little something to make a little noise out there. Just to let the animals know there's something coming so we don't startle them, surprise them.
But unfortunately, with more and more people wanting to cycle in the park, the number of routes has doubled in the last few years. This has meant the moose's habitat is increasingly being broken up into smaller fragments. And with this comes an increase in moose encounters. And as we encroach on their space, it is causing some moose to act completely out of character. As Catherine Dwinell found out.
My friend Melanie and I decided to go out for just an afternoon walk, take the dog with us down to Kincaid Park. And we had just pretty much finished our walk, and we were heading back up towards the main trail to get back to our car. And I heard a loud jet noise, and I reached up to cover my ears, and then I was literally hit from behind.
What Catherine didn't realize is she'd just been hit by a 400-kilo moose.
I was thrown to the ground. We never even saw it coming. And then I noticed that there was big brown legs and hooves around me, scratching at the back of me.
Catherine knew the only thing she could do was go into the fetal position. But then the moose went for her friend Melanie.
She was yelling and being attacked. And then it stopped, and we're both on the ground, curled up, and we could see the moose literally like 10 feet away from us.
Catherine thought the moose would now leave them alone. But she was wrong. In this extraordinary event, the moose came back for more.
You know, we're already bloodied and beat up on, in the fetal position on the ground. But then the moose came back for a second attack. I thought, this is it. This is going to be the end.
But finally, after this second attack, the moose moved away.
I had a huge gash in my calf, and I was having trouble breathing. But we were able to walk up through the brush to the coastal trail.
After being treated in hospital, Catherine is now recovering from her injuries and has been able to reflect on the freak incident.
I've been here for nearly 20 years, and I've been really close to moose before, and never has something like this happen. Moose are not aggressive. Something had to have happened well before it got to us.
Due to the increase in trails and people in the park, it is thought that the moose must have been startled by someone else before getting to Catherine and Melanie, and they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But Catherine knows it wasn't the moose's fault, and she's determined to still enjoy watching the moose in her neighborhood.
We're around wildlife all the time, and it hasn't hindered me from thinking about going and doing all the stuff that I used to do. I mean, we live with moose in this neighborhood. Such an unusual event to occur.
Anchorage is a growing city. With more and more people moving here, it has meant the city's boundaries are expanding. And with that, more and more roads are being built. And it's these highways that are the biggest risk to the urban moose. On average, 156 moose are killed in Anchorage every year. But help is at hand. Kevin Jackson from the Department of Transport made it his mission to come up with a solution. A moose-proof fence.
We put up fence in the highway corridor, and we space one-way gates that will allow the moose to exit the highway corridor, and they won't let the moose come back in. So even if they're a little bit away from the fence, as they're grazing, they kind of get funneled over into the gate, and before they know it, they're outside the right-of-way and everybody's happy.
A collision with a moose can have horrific results.
The moose are very fast, too, and they'll dart out in front of you, so they're kind of hard to see until you're right on them. Their body mass is so high, they have those long legs, and for cars, when automobiles or even trucks hit them, all of that mass gets right up on the hood of the car and comes through the windshield. I've seen a lot of crashes where the entire roof of the car is gone. It's a very dangerous situation, so you don't want to hit one.
Today, one of Kevin's team is checking out the fences, as any damage will prevent them from working.
We're here at the off-ramp for Minnesota Drive, and the moose fence here has a gate here that's funneling moose that are trying to get onto the freeway section. So they would walk up here and through the gate, and on our way up, we noticed there's already a kind of a well-worn path, so moose are using it.
After inspecting the fences, Anna is happy they're in full working order. And this year, Kevin and his team have already seen a huge reduction in moose vehicle collisions.
Hurting people and killing people and the moose. You got to remember, every time, even if a person doesn't get killed, the moose always does. And so there is a benefit to, society and the moose.
But with hundreds of kilometers of fencing throughout the city, sometimes a moose can get through before it can be fixed. And when you are a calf, you can sneak through the smallest of holes.
We were just coming down the road and it was like running across the road.
Keith Burgess, a local resident, came across a baby moose stranded on the side of the highway, and he knew it needed his help.
And it was just scared to death. It was just standing there and kind of shaking, just making like baying noises, kind of like a sheep would a little bit.
Come here. Come here. Come on. Come.
I don't know, I just felt like I had to comfort it. So I approached it, and I had work gloves on, so I didn't want my human sweat on it, You always hear that, touch a baby animal, because it'll get rejected by its mom. But I took the risk, I'd rather have that risk than just watching this animal get hit by a car.
It's calling for its mom.
But there was one thing Keith was particularly worried about.
It keeps crying, and I think the mom's right over there.
You see a baby moose, there's the mom somewhere. You do not want to get between those two, because they're more dangerous than bears.
So Keith knew he had to do something quickly.
Just keep an eye out behind you, because his mom's somewhere around here.
I picked it up, you know, like I would have picked up a dog. I just gently swooped it up, and we started walking across the street with it.
You're a champion, good sir.
I just thought it was a really cool experience.
Keith released the moose back through the gap in the fence it had come through. And luckily for this calf, Keith found out the next day it had been reunited with its mum.
I was very happy that that moose reunited with its mother, was able to continue receiving nourishment and grow up, you know. So yeah, that made me happy.
Keith had come to the rescue of this calf, but sometimes in Anchorage, moose actually seek out the protection of humans themselves. Stacey Gates is the manager of a home store in the heart of town, and in June 2016, she had a moose encounter like never before.
We had a mama moose come across the parking lot with a brand new baby, still wobbling and trying to make its way through, and so she made her little spot here right in front of our store. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, you know, and you want to go help, and everybody wanted to bring her water. It was a beautiful experience.
And another eyewitness couldn't believe her luck at seeing such an incredible event.
We pull into the parking lot, and there was some commotion going on. We saw people standing by Lowe's, and I wound down the window and said to somebody, I was like, what's going on out there? And they're like, a mama moose just had a baby about a half an hour ago. And so we got very excited. We jumped out of the car. It was just amazing just to see Mother Nature at work.
But with all the excitement, Stacey knew she had to do something to protect the moose from people getting too close.
We had a little bit of concern because mama mooses are very, very protective. So we put up cones to let them know there was life happening right there, and she was safe and the baby was safe, but also the public was safe.
Stacey had even witnessed what had caused this moose to seek refuge in the car park.
There was a bear threatening the baby moose, and mama moose ran the bear up the tree, and so that's why she fled across the parking lot to our parking lot.
This moose had sought protection in the car park, and that is exactly what she received. It was a special and unique experience for everyone, and a moment many Anchorage residents will never forget.
I've been here for 10 years, and I don't think I will ever not be excited when I see a moose.
I love the moose. I think they're pretty dear and sweet, but to see it in the parking lot and enjoy that with my customers and my employees, it was pretty endearing because it kind of brings everybody together.
With over 2,000 moose living in Anchorage, there is no doubt they have definitely conquered city living. Finding food in people's gardens, giving birth just about anywhere in town, and receiving protection from the city's highways. Anchorage is their home. And hopefully, even with the city expanding further into their habitat, attacks will remain a freak occurrence. Ultimately, it seems that no matter what trouble they get themselves into, help is never far away.